You're not broke because you don't budget hard enough. You're broke because you're paying a monthly subscription to an identity, a tall hood, a loud stance, a trim package with a name that sounds like it comes with a ranch you've never owned, and a payment that quietly takes more from you than the truck ever gives back. Here's the brutal line. If your vehicle makes you feel powerful, but your bank account feels fragile, you didn't buy transportation, you bought a costume. And the costume has interest. That payment doesn't just cost money, it costs oxygen in your life. Oxygen is what lets you handle surprise expenses without panic. It's what lets you say yes to a weekend trip without doing mental gymnastics. It's what lets you quit a job that's draining you. It's what lets you invest consistently without feeling like you're sacrificing your present. A Pavement Princess truck doesn't remove problems. It upgrades your problems to premium. Because once your vehicle becomes your biggest fixed expense, your entire financial ecosystem bends around it. Every decision becomes, can I still make the payment? And when that's your operating system, you don't build wealth. You build a cage that looks impressive in a parking lot. Here's the twist. The most expensive part of a Pavement Princess truck isn't the sticker price. It's the capability tax. The extra money you pay every month for the idea that you might tow, haul, off-road, or need the space in a future you haven't actually scheduled. You're paying for maybe, and maybe is one of the most expensive words in personal finance. Today, we'll do 3 things. 1. Calculate the real monthly cost because the dealer's payment is not the bill. 2. Expose the 84-month trick that turns luxury into normal. 3. Build a 730/90 escape plan that gets you margin back without turning your life into monk mode. Let's map the trap first, because if you can name it, you can break it. Trap map symptoms plus real cause. If you're in this trap, your life probably sounds like one of these lines, I make decent money. So why do I feel like I'm behind? I can't stack savings without it getting erased. My emergency fund is in progress for 3 years straight. I'm not even living fancy, but my account stays on life support. I keep putting normal life stuff on a credit card. On the surface, it looks like a spending problem, but most of the time, it's a fixed expense problem. Because a big vehicle payment turns your paycheck into a sequence of obligations. And after the obligations, there's just crumbs. And the trap works for 2 psychological reasons. 1, payment blindness. Your brain sees one number, the monthly payment. It ignores the costs that show up in different places. Fuel isn't on the contract. Insurance isn't on the contract. Tires, maintenance, registration, higher taxes in some states, none of that is on the contract. So you never feel the full weight in one moment. 2-term distortion. 84 months is a magic trick. It makes I can't afford this transform into I can handle this. Because your brain doesn't treat a 7-year commitment like a 7-year commitment. Micro twist. If your plan requires 7 years of everything going right, it's not a plan, it's a wish. And here's the real cause underneath both identity financing. You're not just buying a vehicle. You're buying what it represents: strength, readiness, competence, status. But when you finance identity, you pay interest on insecurity. Now let's open the rulebook. Rulebook 6 Laws of the Pavement Princess Trap. Rule number 1. The payment is not the price. Dealers want you to ask one question: can you make the payment? Because if that's the question, they win. They can always stretch the term, juggle the down payment, roll fees into the loan, and make the number look doable. But doable is a trap word. You can do a lot of things that ruin you slowly. Real affordability isn't can I pay it? Real affordability is can I pay it while still building savings, investing, and handling surprises without debt. Micro twist. If the purchase requires you to stop building your future, you didn't afford it. You traded, and there's another dirty detail. The payment is only the cover charge. Ownership is the full ticket. Rule number 2. 84 months isn't flexibility, it's handcuffs. An 84-month loan isn't a financial strategy. It's a lifestyle lock. It turns your life into a subscription you can't cancel without a penalty. And it changes how you behave. You stay in a job you hate because you need stability. You stop taking smart risks because you can't handle a dip in income. You become allergic to uncertainty because uncertainty plus a giant payment equals panic. Micro twist. The truck doesn't just sit in your driveway, it sits in your career decisions. And here's what people don't realize. When you become a fixed expense person, you lose leverage. Leverage in negotiations, leverage in moving, leverage in saying no. You become easier to control by employers, by emergencies, by life. Rule number 3, capability tax, paying for maybe. Let's talk usage. How often do you actually use the truck for truck things? Not I could, not I might. Not it's nice to know I can. How often do you tow something heavy? Haul bulky materials. Use 4-wheel drive for a real reason. Carry loads that would be impossible in a normal car. If the answer is a few times a year, your vehicle choice is basically a very expensive insurance policy for a scenario that rarely happens. And the capability tax is everything you pay for that, just in case. Extra fuel every week. Higher insurance every month. Bigger tires and brakes over time. Bigger depreciation in dollars, even if the percentage looks fine. The upgrades that start because it looks better. Micro twist. You're not paying for what the truck does. You're paying for the feeling that you're the kind of person who could do more. Rule number 4, big vehicles. Create expense gravity. This is sneaky. Once you buy the expensive vehicle, it attracts more spending, like a planet pulls in asteroids. Because now you need nicer tires, better wheels, a cover, steps, tint, accessories, protection packages, premium detailing supplies, a monthly car wash membership that becomes your new therapy. And each add-on feels small compared to the big purchase. Micro twist. The initial purchase lowers your sensitivity to future spending because your brain uses the truck as the new baseline. That's how lifestyle creep works. One big move, then 1,000 little moves. Rule number 5. It holds value. Is a half-truth that still costs you. You've heard the line trucks hold their value? Sometimes. Compared to some sedans? Yes, percentage-wise. But percentage depreciation is the world's most misleading comfort blanket. Because you don't lose percentages, you lose dollars. If an $80,000 vehicle drops 35%, that's $28,000 gone. If a $28,000 vehicle drops 50%, that's $14,000 gone. The cheaper car depreciated worse as a percentage, but you lost half as many dollars. Micro twist holding value doesn't mean cheap. It means less bad. And less bad is still bad when the starting price is insane. And by the way, holds value doesn't show up in your checking account. The payment does. Rule number 6. The real flex is margin. Let's redefine what winning looks like. Winning isn't sitting higher at a stoplight. Winning is having margin so you can handle a $1,200 car repair without debt. Take a trip without guilt. Invest automatically. Say no to overtime you don't want. Walk away from a toxic job. Sleep without refreshing your bank app like it's a stock ticker. A Pavement Princess truck often buys you respect from strangers and sells your peace to the lender. Micro twist. The car that looks boring can be the most aggressive financial move you make. Now let's make this trap visible with a math moment your brain can't unsee. Math moment. The capability tax in one clean calculation. We're going to do math the way dealerships hope you don't. Simple. Honest. All in. Here's the setup. These are example assumptions to illustrate the mechanism you're choosing between option A, big truck / luxury trim / capable vehicle, option B, reliable used sedan or small SUV that fits your real weekly life. Now we estimate the monthly all-in difference, not just the note. Step 1. The monthly delta. Let's say the truck costs $700 per month more all in. That's not a wild number once you include payment difference, extra fuel, extra insurance, bigger tire plus maintenance sinking fund. Fees that scale with value. Maybe your delta is $400, maybe it's $900, but we'll use $700 as a clean example. Step 2. What that delta does over time. $700 per month equals $8,400 per year. Over 7 years. That's $58,800 in raw cash you didn't get to keep. And now, the punchline. If instead you invested $700 per month in a boring index fund and assumed a 7% annual return, after 7 years, you'd have roughly $75,000 to $80,000. That range isn't hype. It's what consistent contributions, plus compounding, tends to do over that time frame. Micro twist. You can feel rich in the truck, or you can actually become rich in the account. And the real mind bender is this, that $700 per month doesn't just buy the truck. It cancels other wins. It cancels your emergency fund timeline. It cancels extra principal payments on debt. It cancels retirement contributions you meant to start. It cancels options. Because money is a vote. And right now, that vote is going to a depreciating asset, plus interest. Now let's translate that into real-life consequences. Debt-to-income reality check. Lenders don't care that your truck feels responsible. They care about ratios. If your monthly vehicle obligation is huge, it can squeeze your ability to qualify for a mortgage or force you into a worse interest rate. Micro twist, your vehicle isn't just transportation, it's a silent cosigner on your future. Stress math. People underestimate the psychological cost. When you carry a giant payment, every surprise becomes scarier. A medical bill, a job shakeup, a rent increase, a kid expense, even a simple repair. Your nervous system starts living on a shorter fuse. You're not just paying money, you're paying attention, anxiety, and sleep. Okay, enough pain. Let's talk escape without turning your life into a punishment. Escape plan 7/30/90. 7 days. Stop the bleeding and get clarity. 1. Build your real monthly vehicle cost. Write down 6 lines. Payment, insurance, fuel monthly average, maintenance sinking fund, tire sinking fund, registration/fees, total it. This is your real number. Not vibes, not guesses, not it's fine. 2. Identify your capability tax. Price out a reasonable alternative that fits your real routine. Not your fantasy routine. Your actual routine. Compute the difference. That difference is what your identity is costing you monthly. Micro twist. Most people don't have an income problem. They have an extra $600 leaking out problem. 3. Freeze the orbiting purchases. No accessories. No upgrades. No I deserve it mods. If it's not safety or reliability, it waits. You're not depriving yourself. You're stopping the hemorrhage. 30 days. Choose a path and automate the win. Now you pick one of 2 strategies. Path A, keep the vehicle, but stop letting it run your life. If refinancing is available, only do it if it lowers total cost meaningfully. Don't just chase a lower payment that extends the pain. Set a payoff target and plan to overpay principal when possible. Create an automatic transfer on payday. At least 50% of your capability tax goes to emergency fund or investing. Because here's the psychological truth. If you don't automate it, you'll accidentally spend it. Path B. Sell it and stop the bleeding. This is where pride fights math. If you're upside down, you'll feel like selling means losing. But keeping it while drowning is not winning. It's just delaying the acknowledgement. Micro twist. The lender doesn't reward loyalty. They reward payments. If you sell, your goal is simple. Lower the monthly drain enough to rebuild margin. And yes, it might sting. But long-term drains sting longer. 90 days lock margin. And so you don't slide back. Goal 1. Build a starter buffer. Aim for $1,000 first. Not 6 months. Not perfection. A buffer that prevents small problems from becoming debt. Goal 2. Move toward 1 month of expenses. That's the milestone where life stops feeling like a tightrope. Goal 3. Write your vehicle rules for the next purchase. Here are clean rules that work for many people. No loan terms longer than 60 months. Prefer shorter when possible. Buy capability only if you use it weekly, not someday. If hauling is occasional, price the alternative's delivery, renting, borrowing. Your vehicle budget is not based on what you can finance. It's based on what preserves margin. Micro twist. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a plan that protects your future self from your current emotions. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Costs vary by location, insurance profile, and interest rates. But the principle holds for many people. If you only look at the payment, you're not doing math. You're doing marketing. Let's end with the truth. Nobody puts in a truck commercial. A big truck can make you look like you have money. Margin proves you actually do. Because success isn't measured by the size of your monthly payments. It's measured by the size of your freedom. So here's the question. Be brutally honest in the comments. What's one thing you told yourself you needed, but you've used maybe twice? And if you want the next step, subscribe. Because next, we're breaking down the 84-month car loan illusion, how dealers turn unaffordable into only X dollars a month, and how to reverse engineer the deal in minutes. Until then, buy the tool that matches your real life. Keep your margin. Stop paying interest to cosplay.